Item: SCP-717. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-717 is encased within site, publicly known as the Observatory. Observatory dome must remain closed from 10:30 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. or when SCP-717 is active. A minimum of 12 armed guards are to be stationed outside site during all hours. Flamethrowers and flashbang grenades are to be secured in the guardhouse in case of emergency. Internal temperature of site is not to exceed 10 degrees Celsius. Only one of site's internal spotlights can be on at any time, but should be dimmed if SCP-717 is active. No more than 3 persons may enter at any time, and no more than 2 of these may be on-site security. Visiting staff are advised to wear warm, darkly colored clothing and light amplification visors while within site. Staff are permitted to bring flashlights or flares but may not use them outside of an emergency. No radios or cell phones permitted. If SCP-717's containment becomes compromised for any reason, all floodlights within site are to be activated and sirens are to sound within the facility. All personnel are to evacuate the site and equip flamethrowers until receiving further instructions. See description for procedures relating to SCP-717's individual components. Description: SCP-717 is the ruins of a two-story Victorian-style home hidden within site, specifically the remains of the guest bedroom on the upper story. Although the walls of the hallway leading to SCP-717 have burned through, the doorway to the room is to remain closed at all times. Staff are required to knock gently upon the door once for each member of staff present before entering, even for routine maintenance. All other doors within the house have been removed. SCP-717-1 is a white cloth mannequin and is to be kept within this room at all times, preferably seated before its table. Staff are to note its position and markings once per day. Any changes or signs of movement are to be reported immediately. A lamp, set of writing implements, large block letters and a modified Ouija board must be kept on the table before SCP-717-1. No other items are to be placed on this table. If SCP-717-1 shows signs of movement, one staff member is to sit at the table and remain in the room with it. The staff member present must turn on the lamp and point at the word "wait" on the modified Ouija board, then immediately shut the lamp off. Staff is advised to remain quiet and breathe steadily until relieved. SCP-717-2 is sealed behind a titanium alloy vault door, lined with a plating of redacted alloy. It is mounted on the wall behind SCP-717-1. The vault is to remain sealed per mutual agreement. If any whistling is heard from the vault, maintenance must be performed immediately to prevent a breach. If the SCP-717-2 vault is breached from the far side, it is to be considered a hostile act. Communication with SCP-717 is to immediately cease and staff are to equip weapons to repel invaders.